Yesteryear 7th anniversary here at HSN. I'm your host, Robin. We've got Stella Chow joining us. She is a lifelong collector of jade and has traveled around the world. Not only started collecting when you were little, you actually were playing in your grandmother's jewelry box, right? Right.
I love it. My grandmother would, when I'm good, my grandmother would tell me the stories. And she would take out her jewelry and she would say, oh, I used to wear this with King Hassan. I always remember King Hassan's father.
Oh my gosh.
She said, I wear this necklace with King Hassan's, dancing with King Hassan's father in the Beijing hotel.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps.
Yeah, so my grandfather was the governor then. So yeah, so she would pull out all those pieces. And my father's side, that's my father's side. And that's not even the royalty. Mother's side of the family are the last dynasty. They were the last Qing dynasty.
It's amazing, and that's why we're so honored to have Stella here. Yes, it's true. Here is another brand new piece this afternoon. This is $119.90. We've taken $20 off, brand new. This to me is elegance personified. There is such a gracefulness to not only that teardrop pear-shaped design, and then look at the sleek amount of metal that you have surrounded with those beautiful pave set clear CZs that sparkle just as if they were diamonds. Now we've only got about 158 of these. Look at that at $139.90. We have anniversary pricing here. The size is 7 inches in the length, even the under gallery. Look at how beautifully it's finished off with those hearts. It fits a 6-inch to a 6.5-inch wrist. I will say though, I think my card says 6.5. And maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Stella, but I have a 7.5-inch wrist and it's fitting me fine. Don't you? Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe that might not be.
Because the oval shape. I think that's probably what it
maybe
is.
You're right. Maybe that is right, because here's the oval shape. But let's continue. For someone who's never tried jade, let's talk about the history of jade and the importance of jade.
Well, jade is what we call stone from heaven. That long back in the Neolithic year, that's one of the hardest stone you could find. So they were using it for tool. So in the old days, if you have tools, you can make a living. You could do things because it is much harder than most the stone and most metals that they could find. So maybe it has a latch. Yeah. So it's very important. And then they started to use it to pray to the heavens. Whenever we have ceremonies, when the king or the emperor has some type of ceremony, they would always hold a piece of jade, because when they use it for instrument, when they clink 2 pieces of jade together, it makes a sound that is so special. They believe with that sound, it ascends to heaven where God will hear you. So the most simplest shape of jade is called B. It's a circle, a large circle. And every ceremonial, weddings or, usually the emperor pray to God to give good harvest, to the people, or wish them won the war. Well, W-A-R, how do you pronounce that?
Oh, war.
Okay. War. And he would pray to the heaven in the ceremony. So he would hold a piece of jade, because the emperor represent, the people, and then he would pray for the people so they would have lots of harvest. So jade is always ceremonial pieces. Only the royalties, the elite, and sometimes they'll trade. There's jade that people traded for a whole city, and they use it for ransom for kings and princes.
And
it's very, very valuable.
It's so historic.
It is.
It's rich in history. I know we have to scoot